Hey guys, what's up? My name's Dawson. I work with the success team over here at Rains. In this video, I've created a guide to get you more familiar with using our app. This guide is designed to help you through setting up your company as well as utilizing all our features within our software. If you've already created a company with us, skip ahead to this point in the video. For all of you that have not, let's get started from the beginning. Alright guys, welcome. I'm going to show you how easy it is to get a company going up on our platform. I'll reiterate now, if you guys already have a company set up and you need to figure out how to use it, again, skip ahead to the next chapter where we talk about the admin portal and the employee app. That'll answer a lot of those questions and help you get going right away. But for those that haven't gotten started yet and need to know how to create a company now, let's do it. We're going to go to our web browser. We're going to go to rains.com. And when we land there, we're going to see up in the nav bar an option that says sign up. So we will click that and we are redirected to portal.rains.com. So here we can put in all the necessary information and start signing up our company. And what we'll kind of see here at the end is there's an option for a number of company users, and then we call them seats, but same thing, it's users. We just need to have a minimum of 5 to get going. So we'll put 5 in there for now and register. And then from here, we'll just put in our card information and get things going. All right, so now that we entered our company info and we just submitted our card information, we already selected how many seats we want to have. We'll be redirected to sign in right here. So we can sign in with the same credentials we used, just barely. And then here we are, we're signed in. So if you got to this point and this is exactly what you're seeing, good job and you're on the right track. And you might be asking yourself now, what am I looking at? Where am I? Well, don't worry, that's what this video is for. So keep listening along as we jump into the next chapter where we explain the difference between the employee app and admin portal. All right, now that you're signed up to get started, this is probably a good time to explain our two different interfaces we use here with our app. The first one that we'll mainly focus on for this video is going to be our admin portal. Think of this like your administrative management interface where you'll manage, upload, and create content to be shared with your users. You'll also be able to manage time clocks and daily engagement from your team if you choose to do so here. Things like creating a document to be shared with a group or assembling a training to be pushed to your company all take place here on the back end. This interface is only accessible on the web by global admins at portal.rains.com, preferably on desktops or tablets. Don't stress though, we'll explain what a global admin is here shortly and how to set those up, but think of them for now like administrators, or what we like to call champions of our app. The other interface will be the employee app. This is where your team will go to use the app and receive what is shared with them. Daily engagement activities like checking in and out, completing training, and filling out assigned forms all take place here. The employee app interface is accessible on the web at app.rains.com. We also have an app on the iOS and Android store that will allow your team to access this on their phone as well. So here you have two interfaces. When you create your company account by default, you'll be set up as a global admin with access to both ends. But keep in mind, new users will only be able to access the employee app by default. We can definitely change that later. And speaking of new users, why don't we send out a couple invites to my team to join me on the Acrisure Safety app? I'll show you how to do that now. Let's head over to the admin portal on the desktop. All right, so we're back here on the admin portal at portal.rains.com, and I'm signed into my new company I just created, Dawson Construction Company. And as I look around here, things look quite empty. So let's change that. Let's start by adding some new users and getting some more people within the system. So over here, I have a little bit of a navigation bar on the left, and I'm gonna click on users. And I can see me right here, but I want to get my team invited over. So I'm going to click on invitations up top, click on invite employees, and here I can send invites via email to my team. So I'm going to invite them right now. All right, so I have 2 invites I'm sending out to Ryan and Jordan, and I can hit this blue button right here to send an invite out. Also, if I have a big list of emails that I want to send over and I don't want to type them out one by one manually, I can click this bulk email entry option right here. This will allow me to choose a bunch of email entries and just input them right down here along the side. Also, if I want to add a little note when I send these invites out, I can attach that right here. So I'll click this blue button and hit send invites, and they've been sent off. So now what will happen is the 2 invites I sent out to Ryan and Jordan are going to go to their email and they can sign up on the app. So the invitation will go out in an email and they can create their account in that email. As soon as they create their account, they'll move from here over to active. Okay, I gave both Ryan and Jordan some time to make accounts through their email. So some time has passed now, and let's go see how they're doing. Coming down to users, I now see both of them have made accounts and they're populating over here in the active tab, just like we mentioned before. So they disappeared from this invitation list and we're over here in active. So they both have access solely to the employee app that we discussed in the previous chapter. However, if I wanted to give one of these guys access, say Jordan might be managing some content on the back end here that we'll talk about here in future chapters, and I want to give him global admin privileges, I can do that by clicking on his user, coming over here where it says role, and changing him to a global admin. We'll understand what we're doing when we do this, and this will give him access to both the employee app and the admin portal. So he can access what I'm accessing here on the back end as well as the app. So we'll hit save changes. If we go back and look, we can see both Jordan and I are global admins, while Ryan still is a user in our app and he can access the employee app, but not the back end here. So that's all you really need to know to get things going here on the user side. So join me in the next chapter as we take a look at what we need to do to help both Jordan, Ryan, and I both check in and out each day through the app. Welcome to the next chapter. You've already learned how to invite users to your team on our software, but we're not finished setting them up yet. Now we need to assign them time categories and jobs to check in and out and engage on a daily basis. So let's do that. This is also going to let them clock in and out if you're using our software as a time clock as well. Alright, so from our dashboard, we're going to come down to the company tab. Click on that, and we see we have a demo job here. We're going to be creating our own one from scratch though. So we'll come over here to the blue icon and click new job. Alright, so now that we're here, we're going to create a new job. Now, I just want to preface this by saying this is fully customizable, so you can label these however you see fit. We see people use these oftentimes as locations, but you don't have to use them that way. You could do it by trade, by codes, by sub-locations, however you want to do it. In this example, we'll keep it simple and just label it our office. So when we type office in, we'll get a code here. Don't sweat too much about that. We can do a simple description here, and we'll add the rest of the info. Now down here, we're going to pick when the job will begin and when it ends. And this will allow our users to check into these jobs on these specific times. If you don't want this to expire, you can just leave the ends on option blank and just choose a start date. So in this case, we'll have it set up to just be active for a month. We'll hit save, and there we have it. We have our office job and it's active. Now that we've done that, we need to also connect our users to this job. So what we're going to do here is we're going to click on the job. We'll come over to users here. And those 2 users that I sent invites to, we'll click on assign by user, and we'll grab both Jordan and Ryan and save them. So now when they check in on their app, they'll be able to see this as an option. Let's go back. Okay, now back. Now the one other thing we're going to need to do though to get them going is we're going to need to assign a time category. So we'll click on time categories up top, and here we'll click add category. And again, like I've mentioned before with jobs, this is fully customizable, so label it however you see fit. In this case, we're going to keep it simple and do an hourly and hourly time category. We'll name them all hourly. And the name you choose up here on the right is going to be what the user will see when they check in. So make sure that is recognizable to your team. So we'll create an hourly category. And then we'll do one more on salary. Perfect, so I have an hourly and a salary time category. This is helpful because Ryan works hourly and Jordan works on a salary. So they'll both be able to pick between those options when they check in. Now that I have time categories set up and the job set up for them, they're now able to check in and out. Okay, now you have things set up so your team's able to check in. They'll be able to select a time category and a job. There is some bonus options here. If you wanted to further subdivide your job, whether your job is massive and you need to separate different locations at that job, or if there's different tasks you're doing at that job, you can do that here. You can do that under cost codes. I'm going to click on cost codes right here. And let's say my office is massive and I have 2 different locations at that job. So maybe I'll have a west office and an east office. So I'm going to click add code here. I'm going to label this first one west office. And I'm going to go back here and create one more that's labeled east office. Okay, now I'm going to go back to my job and assign these cost codes I just created to that job. So I'll go back to jobs, click the office job I just made. I'll click on cost codes this time, and I will add those. Okay, so I just added the east and west office. So now when my team checks in, both Ryan and Jordan will be able to select office, and then they'll be able to further subdivide and select whether they're at the east office or the west office. You can see how that can be a bit more practical when you have different trades going on or different types of work being performed at one location, or if you have a lot of different locations at one job site. All right, beautiful. We just created jobs and time categories, and now our team can engage by checking in and out. Now we're gonna jump back over to the next chapter and see how we can manage and view these time clocks and time entries. All right, so we sent invites to our users and we set up our company. So now our users can check in and out. So now if we come and take a look at our dashboard, we can already see now we're getting some recent time clocks. Why don't we learn how to manage and see where our users are checking in and out, and also if they have any hazards to report. So from our main dashboard, we're gonna click on time clocks up top here. And if you notice, we have a few new check-ins right here. So I can see it looks like Jordan and Ryan and myself have been checking in and out these past few days. So if I notice, I can see the times that they were checked in. I can also see what category and cost code they put in on their times. I have the ability to approve and reject these time clocks as well. All right, and if we have a look over here, we can see there's a grayed out entry, and this just kind of means these check-ins are in progress. We have green ones where they report no incident. And if you look here, we have a yellow one. So let's take a look at this. If we click on this, we actually get a glimpse into a geocache stored location during check-ins and check-outs. It's not going to follow them all the way through the day, it's just when they check in and out. But I also notice here they actually left me a note, and Jordan told me my seatbelt on my company vehicle isn't working. So I can respond to him if I want right here and communicate, or I could handle that directly. I also have the ability to approve and deny check-ins right here. I can take a look at how they checked in as well. And if I go out and I look up top, I can search for specific jobs, I can search for specific statuses, start date, end dates. I can really kind of search through all these as time goes on and all these check-ins start to fill up. And so yeah, so that's a look into time clocks and the daily engagement piece on our app. Keep listening on as we're gonna move on to documents and learn how to start creating, sharing, and managing content with our team. Alright guys, welcome back. We're going to be focusing on the document library here in this chapter. So we're back on the admin portal. We are here on the main screen. We can see from our previous work with time clocks, we can see some previous time clocks, we can see some current clocked in users. What if I want to share some files with my team? What if I wanted Ryan and Jason to have access to certain items? Let's figure out how to do that together. So let's navigate to the document tab over here on the left. and this will take us to our document library. We're empty right now, but we're about ready to change that. In this example, I'm going to share a site-specific safety plan with my team. But you'll see you'll be able to upload all sorts of different items. You can upload PDFs, JPEGs, pictures, PowerPoints, even links to items on the web like YouTube videos. So let's create one right now. I'm going to click on New Document. I'm going to name my document, so I'm going to do that real fast. And I'll be able to choose when it's available and when it expires. And again, like in previous chapters, if I leave the expires on button blank, then it'll never expire. Let's make it expire at the beginning of next year. And then we choose if we want this to be available to everybody or only specific users. And in this scenario, we're doing a safety plan. I want all my guys to have access to this. So I'm gonna choose yes. So I created that. Now I need to add the asset. So I'm gonna come over here in this blue Add Asset option, click that button. I'm gonna click Browse Files, my company items, come to Documents, and here's my site plan. So let's upload that. Now I have that ready, and it's as simple as that. Now my entire team can view and check out this site-specific safety plan from their employee app under the Document tab. Navigating back, we can see we just created this. Now we're going to do another one. You can see here we created documents, but if we really dig deep, we can actually add multiple assets. So essentially what we created was a folder. So what if I wanted to have something only one employee needs access to, and maybe that information or those files might only be relevant to them? Let's say I want Ryan to have access to a few of his items. So let's click on New Document. Let's just label this Ryan's Documents. We'll make this available today. We'll leave this blank so it never expires. Available to all users, we're gonna leave that no because we only want Ryan to be able to access this. Let's create the folder. So let's add those the same way. Click Add Asset, Browse Files, Ryan's Documents, and let's add his auto insurance card and his license. There's one. There's two. Just a quick side note, you can also see this is where you'll attach URL links if you want to attach a YouTube video or a specific video on the web and share that with your team. And then we'll come under the access control list, and since we selected no on available to all users, we're going to come over here and choose who we want to access this. So we'll click Add Employee, we'll search up Ryan, and there we go. Now only Ryan can access his items right here. So that's all there is to it. You can see how beneficial having a document library for you and your team is. Welcome back. In this section, we're going to focus on training. Training is a great way to help keep your team educated and growing. Let's jump in here and build a training together. So from our main dashboard here, we're going to come over and click on training here to the left. And I like the grid view better, so I'm going to click on that. So I have a training that I've already created. We'll get to that in a second. But first, let's go over creating a course together. So we're going to click on Create Course, and then we're going to name it. So in this example, I'm going to do hazard training. And a short code, name this however you want. Set a duration for the course, and then you have the ability to offer this course on demand or in webinar formats. They're a lot similar. The only difference is when you click webinar, a new link will show up here soon where you can attach a third-party link to like Teams or Zoom. In this case, we're just going to do on demand here. On demand meaning this will be available to your team as soon as you assign it to them. Now we can attach a summary here, and we can also attach a description. Then we'll have the ability to choose when this training will be available and when it expires. And I'm just going to put a little placeholder here. I'll show you a better example of what this looks like soon. Then we can hit save once we have everything filled out here. We can also upload a header up here on the left. So let's do that real fast. Perfect. Now assets is where you're going to pick what you want to assign your employees, what kind of materials you want them to look over, watch, or read. So in this case, I'm going to add a video. I have a hazard training video on my computer I want them to watch. Perfect, now that's finished. We also have the ability to add an optional exam if we want. In order to do that, we just click Include Exam, and then we set some parameters to the exam, such as how long it'll be, the requirement to pass, and if there's any reattempts. I'll do one in this example and we'll hit save. And then you have the ability to add questions here. Currently we just do multiple choice, but you do have the ability to add more than just 4 options here, or less. I'll show you what this looks like in a completed exam here shortly too. You can also add instructors and credits if that's important too. Totally optional, but you still have that ability. In order to set that up, you're going to actually jump back to the company tab and add those. So we would jump back to company here, and we can come over to instructors and credit topics. And I've already created a couple instructors and a couple credit topics. So as soon as you create those, you can come back to your training. We'll jump back in here and add those here. So we'll click on add. I can add myself as the instructor, hit assign. And I can also add the credit details. So we'll do, in this case, hazard training. And at the very bottom here, this is where you're going to assign your training to your team. But before we do that, we need to make sure we have everything up top exactly how we like it. As soon as that's all ready, we'll change the active tab for our course from no to yes. We hit yes, we'll hit save, and now we can add our team. I'm going to add Ryan, hit save. I'm also going to hit Jordan, hit save. Just like that, they're both in there. Now they can complete their training on the employee app. Let's jump over to a completed training so you can see what it looks like when it's all finished. We'll come back here and we'll click on new site training. We have a solid summary and description that my team can see before they begin their training. I added a video so they can watch this before they complete their exam. And here's the exam questions. I have some multiple choice questions here that they'll see. They have 10 minutes to complete it. I need 100% from them and 1 reattempt. Scrolling down, I can see my instructor and credit details. And here I assigned the training to Jordan and Ryan. Let's see how they did. It looks like Ryan passed without any problems. Jordan, however, failed. So I can handle this however it needs to be handled. He has 1 reattempt, so he can do that. I can also deal with that directly, or I can re-enroll him in the course when he's ready. So that's training as a whole. You can create all sorts of different trainings and assign them to your team, and add exams to keep them engaged. Keep following along in our next chapter where we take a look at our forms feature. Alright guys, welcome back to the next chapter. In this section, we're going to be talking all about forms. We've looked at documents and training and how we can push content and data to our team. But what if we want to get some custom data back? That's where the forms feature comes in handy. So let's take a look at that. So we're here back on our admin portal dashboard, and we're going to navigate down to the forms section here on the left. I'm going to pull up grid view again because I like the grid view a little bit more. And I got a finished form I'll show you here shortly, but I want to show you one from scratch just so you can get the idea. I'm going to navigate over here and click on new form, and we have a couple pre-built templates that you can use, or you can just start from scratch, which is what we'll do in this case. Here's where you're going to assemble and build your form. We're first going to title it, and in this example, we'll just do a vehicle checklist. So I want my guys to be inspecting their vehicle before they use it each day. So we named it, and we have a drag and drop builder here where we can assemble our form. We can add text, question boxes, images, videos, PDFs. We even have a user file upload option that you can add to your form, which allows the user to upload a file of their own, like a picture. A signature box, which allows the recipient to sign the form, and we can section these things out as well. So for example, we could drag in a few question boxes. And what we can do here is we can create different types of questions we want to ask. For example, we might want to know who's filling out this form, so we'll do a simple name and text box question. Name here, text input, which allows them to answer with text here. We also have slider type questions, drop downs, multiple choice where you can create multiple choice questions, check boxes, and even a date and time picker, which allows the user to pick what date and time they're going to fill this out. We'll do text input for name. Maybe we'll do another one here for the type of vehicle they'll inspect. We'll click text input again, and then maybe we'll pick what day they're doing this inspection. Date and date picker. Let's add one more question that allows the user to inspect the tire tread. Drag the question in. In this case, we'll do multiple choice. We'll say in this case, tire tread. We'll do acceptable. We'll add an option for unacceptable. And we're gonna make this required. The way to do that is we come over here to this required box. This means that when they fill out the form, they can't skip this question, they need to answer it. If you want to have a bit of a preview and see how your form's taking shape, you can come over here to the top right and click the preview option. This is what the form is going to look like to the user. Let's jump over and see a more complete version of this checklist. And as you can see, I dragged in a bunch of different question boxes here, a bunch of different item check options, such as the engine oil, the brakes, the tires. And at the very end, we got the operator's name and a signature box for them to sign it when they're completed. If I want to assign this form to somebody, I'll come over here to the top and click on assignments. As you can see, I assigned this to Ryan, but I can also click new assignment and assign this by user, group, job, or even the whole company. I can set expiration dates as well. Another good feature is over in the settings. If I assign that form to somebody, they can fill it out once and submit it to me. However, there's certain scenarios where a form might need to be completed more than once, such as a daily vehicle checklist. Under settings, this accessible on library option makes it so you don't have to require this. This will be available to everybody, and they can submit this form as many times as they'd like. So we'll check that on and hit save. What if I want to be alerted when a form gets completed? I can do that under submission alerts. I'll click my name here and hit save. So now anytime this form gets completed, I'll be notified via email. What if I want to see the data that was filled out? If I go over here to submissions, I can see that Ryan submitted this form on the 12th of September. I have the ability to approve and reject this. If I click the submitted option, I can now see the data he filled out. I see he did a vehicle checklist inspection on a Ford Ranger. He did this on September 10th, and these item checks look acceptable so far. Oh, here's a problem. It looks like he stated the tires were unacceptable. Everything else is looking good. He added a comment here that said the tires need to be replaced soon. So now I know I need to address that. I can even download or print the form as well. This looks great to me, so I'll change the review status to approved. Now it's approved. Build all types of custom forms and gather the data you need from your employees. Thanks for watching. Join me in the next chapter where we talk about our messaging feature. Alright guys, welcome back to another chapter. In this one, we're going to be focusing on our messaging feature. This feature is going to let me broadcast all sorts of important information to my team, from weather alerts, schedule changes, hazards, or even just the minor updates. I can alert my team at the touch of a button. Let's jump in here and take a look. So I'm back here on my main dashboard, and I'm going to come over here to messages. And now that I'm here, why don't we create a new message? I'll click this blue new message icon. In this example, I'm going to change when we're going to pour our concrete. I need to let my guys know immediately that instead of doing it today, we're going to be doing it tomorrow. So first, I'll decide who it's going to go to. I can send this message to individual users, I can send it to groups or jobs, or I can send it to the whole company by clicking this button here. I'll title the message, and then I'll put the subject matter in right below. Alright, that looks good. Let's send this off. So right when I send that message, my company will be notified right away. So Ryan and Jordan will both be able to see that message. One thing that's kind of cool is if I come over to Sent, I'm actually able to see if they're reading my message. And see this Sent To button? If I click on that, I can see if and when my messages have been read by my team. So right here I can see Ryan read my message at 4:26 today. I also have a bunch of other options that you see in standard messaging services like drafts and archives. One last note, if my team enables push notifications within their app, they'll actually be notified of my message even when they're not in the app. It'll come through like a standard push notification. And that's messages with Acrisure Safety. Keep watching as we move over to the Logit feature next. Hey guys, welcome back. In this chapter, we're going to be discussing Logit. Logit's one of our newer features, so expect a bunch of cool new updates to be coming to Logit soon. Logit is going to be best explained by showing you a little bit of the admin portal and employee app. So first things first, before you want to start doing anything with Logit, it's important to set somebody as the designated person to review all Logits. So from our admin dashboard here, we're going to click on Logit, and we're going to click on Manage up top. We need to select a user that's going to be in charge of receiving and analyzing and communicating with what are essentially these observation photos. In this example, I'm going to have myself as the person to be alerted. But keep in mind, you can really have any person be your Logit mastermind, if you will. In order to do that, I'm going to search my name and click it and hit save. So now any Logits that get submitted are going to be coming to me, and I'll be notified via email as well. From here, let's jump back to logs. And before we manage this, let's take a look at the employee app real fast. Alright, so I have the employee app pulled up here. Your team will be submitting Logits like this. They're going to click over on Logit on the bottom far right. They'll create a new Logit by adding a picture or taking a picture. And now that they have this here, they can draw on it and they can make comments. In this case, let's just say they have concerns about the sturdiness of the ladder. And then they're gonna have the ability to just store it for safekeeping, or they can review or escalate it, and that's where it's gonna come back to you. So let's say in this case, they're gonna escalate it and hit submit. Let's jump back over to the admin portal to see how to handle this. Okay, now you just saw a logit get submitted. I just received an alert via email, and I can come over and review it on the admin portal. Here under logit, I see my logit right here. I'm gonna click on it, and here's the photo. I can also see all the edits that were made to the photo, with the drawings around both ladders, as well as the comment verifying the sturdiness. So now that I received this, I have a couple options. I can obviously go handle this externally and fix any problems or hazards we witness. I can also communicate back with the logit sent to me. To get this going, I'm gonna come up to the top and change the status to open. This just means that we're working on this and trying to find a resolution. I too can also draw and comment on this logit and send it back to him, whether I wanna gather more info, or maybe I wanna point out some information he may have missed when he sent this to me. Or maybe in this case, I decided to get new ladders for him, so I can communicate that to him and resolve this issue. It's important to keep the status updated as you move along. If I click the drop down up here, I can change the status and how far along we are on this logit. When I feel like we're in a spot where the logit has been resolved, I can click on resolved. Once I've completed everything I need to do with this logit, I can hit submit up top, and it'll be my duty to kind of manage this item. So there's a little intro into logit. You can see how helpful it would be to be able to communicate via pictures, especially with the many observations and hazards one might have on their job site. Again, we're very excited about this new feature, so expect a lot of new enhancements and updates to logit in the future. Alright guys, welcome back. We're going to be going over our reporting feature here. So if we take a look here, we're back on the admin portal. So we'll click on reports down here at the bottom. And we can see here, we can look up a few different types of reports. Looks like we can look up hour summaries, timesheets, completions on forms, and even training. So let's look at a couple of these. So our employee roster right here is just going to give us some good information about our employees. We can see Jordan and Ryan and myself both in here with the emails attached. Phone number. We can even see the last time they logged into the app. Let's look at our hour summary. What we need to do is we need to set some custom bounds so the reporting tool knows what to give us. So we'll click on bounds. We'll click on the mode and drop down to custom. We'll set a custom bound. Let's add it. Click on the bound. Let's just say in this example, we want to see all the hours for the month of September. So in our custom bound, we'll start on September 1st and we'll end on September 30th. We'll hit save. And now we can see Jordan, Ryan, and myself, as well as the total hours worked giving that time period of the whole month. So what you're gonna see here is the total hours approved. Remember, these are gonna be the hours that you've approved over in the time clock section. If you wanna include the pending ones that you haven't quite approved yet, you can click on this include pending time clocks up top. And if you notice, there's a few more hours that were added to Jordan and Ryan. So make sure to approve all those approved hours in the time clock section that need to be on this report. Right now, by default, I'm seeing all users and all jobs. If I drop all users and I get rid of all jobs, I can then search by employee or search by job. So we'll select an employee. Let's look up Brian's total hours and update it. We got 29 hours here. Make sure to have the job selected too. A lot of times this populates as 0 and people are like, where are my hours? I thought I worked a bunch of hours this week. Make sure a job's selected here too. If you leave this blank, all this is gonna be 0. If you notice in the bottom right here, we can actually download reports. This will let us download a CSV or kind of an Excel looking file that we can pull outside of the software to view, manage, and report. Going back out, we can even take a look at our timesheet, and this is kind of a compact view of what you see on the time clock section, where you can see all the different hours each day and even the cost codes and jobs associated with it. And again, we can look in date ranges, subdivide it even further by pending and approved timesheets. We can look at form completions and see who completed forms. Remember we built that vehicle safety checklist in our previous forms chapter? We can come here and see who's completed it and when those were completed. So I can see here Ryan completed my daily vehicle safety checklist, and this was submitted at 1:30 on September 12th. Remember, you can always navigate to the form section as well and view submissions. We can even see who's completed our training. Remember, we had a new site training and we built a hazard training together. So now we can look up who's completed specific trainings and even what their score was. Feel free to have a poke around in our reporting section so you can keep obtaining the data you need to make actionable decisions with RAINS. And that's another look into our reporting section. Thank you.